Hi everyone, welcome back to another Henson Highlights. As some of you may know, Caroll.Spinney, the performer for Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch, has retired after nearly 50 years of playing the beloved characters. So, I'm going to make 3 videos, the first of which is going to be talking about Big Bird's theatrical film, Follow That Bird, the first Sesame Street movie ever, and still, of my opinion, the better of the 2 theatrical ones. I don't hate you, I'm on Grouchland, and might get to talk about you someday. But anyway, back to Follow That Bird. So, the feathered wrens, a group of social worker birds, try to keep all birds with their own kind for families and find families for all birds. So, Miss Finch is one of them, and she goes to take Big Bird to Ocean View, Illinois, where he's incorporated into a family called the Dodos. But the Dodo's goofy behavior, as well as the fact that he can't be with Snuffy, and that Donnie and Marie, his siblings, aren't quite good at playing certain games like pretend, make it that he's not having such a great time in Ocean View. And even though he does think they're a nice family, he decides he belongs on Sesame Street, so he sets back home while Miss Finch tries to get him to return to the Dodos. His friends all try to look for him, as well as the Sleaze brothers are antagonists, and yup, just as sleazy as they sound, try to kidnap him for their fun fair to make him their star attraction. This movie definitely has its emotions as the main factor of the story. Sesame Street had been on for 16 years at the time of this movie, which sounds like a long time, but then you consider how long it's been on now. But at the same time, we've all had time to really get to know who these people are, similarly to how Muppet films focus on because we know who the characters are. That's really an important factor here, so there's less time needed to develop these characters because anybody watching the movie, unless there's some random first timer, will be quite aware of who they all are. So, another charm for this movie is all the scenarios that they can get themselves into. It has a lot of emotion in it that's sad, but there's also a lot of fun to be had. Oscar leads to a lot of great moments, getting sidetracked easily on the trip to find Big Bird, much to Maria and Tully's protests, starting the movie off with the Grouch anthem, which you stay sitting down, as well as one of the comedic highlights in the movie, the Don't Drop In, a Grouch restaurant where if you order the tossed salad, be prepared to duck. Yeah. As well as some great parts with Ernie and Bert in an airplane and getting really close to finding Big Bird, but botching the rescue attempt by Ernie being Ernie. Super Grover's attempts to find him. The Count being the Count and his insistence on counting everything, including the credits. This movie has plenty of time for these characters to be themselves, and that's so important for a Sesame Street film. As much as I love the emotional parts that I'm going to get to, the real charm is all of the characters are here and being who we know and love. It's not a gripping story or incredibly exciting because, well, it's Sesame Street. There's so much they can do for excitement, but at the same time, it's a very emotional and heartwarming one. It has a great message of family, and there are some legitimately sad moments. Big Bird missing all his friends during several parts of it. One scene when he imagines Snuffy in a cornfield is pretty as well as when Big Bird's lost almost all hope and the Sleaze brothers look like they just might win. Yeah. A lot heavier than a typical episode of Sesame Street, but at the same time there is a lot of fun too with the scenes I previously mentioned, so it balances out nicely. And I think that It's a bit more heavy than some kids might be able to handle, the really, really, really sensitive ones, like 3 or 4 year olds. But I would say that most kids will be perfectly fine with the movie overall, as long as they realize it's going to have a happy ending. The songs are all great. The Grouch anthem is a nice way to start the movie. Oscar insisting that everyone sit down and listen to it. And it's just about complaining and not letting happiness ruin your misery. And as Oscar says, you've seen the best part of this movie. Sit back, relax, and have a rotten time. So, yeah, it's a definite cinephile of Oscar. Does it have anything to do with the rest of the movie? Absolutely not. Is it catchy and fun? Definitely. Then there's Ain't No Road Too Long, which is just a great song and probably one that I'm most likely to burst out into randomly. It's just so catchy and it's a great message about perseverance and belief in yourself. And Waylon Jennings, a famous country singer, sings with Big Bird, and then the whole cast joins in. Great song. And I'm on a country singer and Big Bird in a truck of turkeys and him getting a big pep talk. What's not to love? Easygoing is an alright song, really. It's catchy and happy, but it's not as much fun as the others or as emotional. One Little Star is a never really pretty song sung by all the cast, well, most of the main characters. Big Bird, Olivia, and Snuffy are the singers for it. While Gordon translates for Linda in sign language. And basically it's them asking the star to shine on each other as they doing their finding them, and Big Bird wondering where they all are, not realizing they're all looking for him right now. Upside Down World is another one it's an Ernie and Bert number, so of course it's going to be a lot of fun. And as always, Ernie starts off singing, but I have an idea. Let's say what's going to happen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 1, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It ends with Bert joining in. Did you say something around the same lines? Then you're a real Sesame Street fan. And then there's actually that's all the songs. I'm not going to. Okay, okay. I'm so blue. This is another great song, probably my ever favorite one. But oh my gosh, Big Bird singing a sad song and pretty much giving up. I've never seen Big Bird this low, and that's counting Mr. Hooper. That's counting Snuffy not coming back when Christmas is every day. That's counting everything. This is the moment I've seen Big Bird at his lowest, and oh boy, it is just so sad. The fact that he just wants to be back home, and that he just wants to hold on to his hope, even though this time he might not be able to get away from his problems. Oh boy. And of course, we have some nice cameos for this movie as well. Waylon Jennings is great as a truck driver and being one of the few people that actually the only of the humans other than his main friends that actually helps Big Bird. Then there's Dave Thomas as Sam Sleaze, and a great number of ones that I'm not as familiar with. I think Chevy Chase is a cop, but he only comes around the very end and doesn't really play a real big impact other than some minor ones for tying up a few loose ends with the Sleaze brothers. But the bottom line is this movie is so heartwarming, filled with great songs, and all the characters we love, and such great scenes, and I don't know what more to say about it. This is Sesame Street at its absolute finest. Any fan of the show will love this movie. A definite must see for any fan, and I would say that this is a very rare type of movie based on a preschool show. This, along with Elmo and Grouchland, I would say are the only ones that really try to make actual movies and something that can be enjoyed by the entire family with a good message about family and loved ones, some surprisingly emotional parts, but still plenty of fun. Follow That Bird is a definite must see. And I would like to thank you for watching part one of my Caroll.Spinney tribute. Part number two should be coming around Wednesday, I think. And I would like to just say that Big Bird will be coming back very shortly in our discussion. Until then, remember, there ain't no mountain you can't climb if you hang on tight and just make up your mind. Once you set your heart to moving on, viewers, there ain't no road too long.